I've got some truly important news that could affect millions of Americans receiving Social Security and SSDI benefits. If you've been struggling with rising costs and watching your fixed income stretch thinner each month, this update is especially for you. According to recent announcements, a significant $3,600 two-time direct deposit could be hitting eligible accounts as soon as tomorrow. I know many of you have been waiting for relief, and today I'm going to walk you through exactly what this means, who qualifies, and what you need to do to ensure you don't miss out. Before we dive in, first make sure to subscribe to our channel and press the ring icon button. This special $3,600 payment comes as part of recent legislative efforts to address the ongoing economic challenges many Social Security and SSDI recipients face. The payment is structured as two separate deposits of $1,800 each, which is why it's being called a two-time direct deposit. The first payment will begin processing tomorrow, with the second payment scheduled to follow approximately 30 days later. This approach was specifically designed to provide immediate relief while also offering sustained support over the coming months rather than a single lump sum that might be quickly depleted. It's important to understand that this isn't a loan or an advance on your regular benefits. These are supplemental payments that won't reduce your future Social Security or SSDI amounts. This means you won't see smaller checks down the road because you received these special payments. As many of you know, that's been a concern with some past programs, but that's not the case here. These funds are meant to help cushion the impact of inflation and rising costs that have been particularly hard on those living on fixed incomes. Now for the question on everyone's mind, am I eligible? The eligibility requirements for this special payment have been carefully structured to reach those most in need. First, you must be a current recipient of either Social Security retirement benefits or Social Security disability insurance, SSDI. Supplemental Security Income, SSI, recipients are covered under a separate program, which I'll mention briefly later. Second, your monthly benefit amount must fall below a certain threshold, specifically $1,800 per month for individual recipients or $2,700 for married couples who both receive benefits. Another key eligibility factor involves your adjusted gross income from your most recent tax filing. For individual filers, your AGI must be under $73,000, while joint filers must have an AGI under $146,000 to qualify. These income thresholds were established to ensure the support reaches those facing genuine financial hardship rather than those with substantial additional income sources. If you haven't filed taxes recently because your income doesn't require it, don't worry, the Social Security Administration will use your benefit information to determine eligibility. You might be wondering if there's any paperwork you need to complete or applications you need to submit to receive these payments. The good news is that for most eligible recipients, the process is entirely automatic. The Social Security Administration will use existing information in their system to identify eligible beneficiaries and process payments accordingly. This means if you qualify based on the criteria I just outlined, you don't need to take any action. The deposits will be sent directly to the same account where you normally receive your monthly benefits. However, there are some situations where you might need to update your information to ensure you receive these payments promptly. If you've recently changed banks or updated your direct deposit information, you should verify that the Social Security Administration has your current banking details. The same applies if you've moved or changed your mailing address in the past year. You can check and update this information through your My Social Security account online or by calling the SSA directly. I'll share those contact details at the end of this video. Let's talk about the impact these payments could have on your financial situation. For many recipients, $3,600 represents approximately 2 months of average Social Security benefits. This significant sum could help address accumulated medical bills, catch up on utilities or housing costs, make necessary home repairs, or simply provide a cushion against ongoing inflation. Some financial advisors are suggesting recipients consider allocating these funds strategically, perhaps using one payment for immediate needs and setting aside the second payment to help with upcoming seasonal expenses or to create an emergency fund. It's also worth mentioning that these payments will not count as income for purposes of determining eligibility for other federal benefit programs like Medicare, Medicaid, SNAP, formerly food stamps, or housing assistance. This was specifically included in the legislation to ensure that receiving these payments wouldn't inadvertently cause recipients to lose other essential benefits. This protection is particularly important for those who receive multiple forms of assistance and must carefully manage their reported income and resources. Now, how can you verify if you're on the list to receive these payments? The most reliable way is to check your My Social Security account online at SSA.gov. If you haven't created an account yet, I highly recommend doing so. It's an invaluable resource for managing all aspects of your benefits. Alternatively, you can call the Social Security Administration directly at 1-800-772-1213. Due to high call volumes, I suggest calling early in the morning or later in the afternoon. And be prepared for potentially longer wait times than usual, as many people will be inquiring about these payments. For those who prefer in-person assistance, local Social Security offices are prepared to help with questions about these payments. However, remember that most offices require appointments these days, so call ahead to schedule a visit rather than just dropping in. If you work with a financial advisor or tax professional, they might also be able to help determine your eligibility based on your specific financial situation. Let me address some common questions that many of you might have about these payments. First, if you receive SSI instead of Social Security Retirement or SSDI, a separate program is being implemented with different payment amounts and timelines. I'll be covering those details in a separate video later this week, so make sure you're subscribed and have notifications turned on. Second, for those asking about paper checks, yes, if you normally receive your benefits by mail rather than direct deposit, you will receive these payments as paper checks. However, be aware that mail delivery will likely delay your payment by 7 to 10 days compared to those receiving direct deposits. If possible, setting up direct deposit now could help you receive these funds faster. Third, many viewers have asked about taxes on these payments. As of now, these special payments are not subject to federal income tax. This tax-free status was included specifically to ensure recipients receive the full benefit of the intended support. However, I always recommend consulting with a tax professional about your specific situation, as state and local tax treatments may vary. Friends, I understand how crucial information like this is for planning your finances and making ends meet. As someone who's been covering Social Security and retirement issues for years, I know that clear, timely information can make all the difference. That's why I wanted to get this video out to you right away. If you found this information helpful, please like this video and share it with others who might benefit. Remember, many eligible recipients might not know about these incoming payments, and your share could help someone in need. If you have specific questions about your situation, please leave them in the comments below. I make it a point to respond to as many questions as possible, and your questions often help others who might be wondering the same thing. As always, I appreciate your trust in this channel as your source for Social Security and retirement information. I'm committed to bringing you the facts without unnecessary hype or confusion.